What is up, everybody? Welcome to the NFL Draft Bible Prospect Profit Show. We're on the Fan Nation Network, powered by Sports Illustrated. Today it is a happy football Saturday. We got the gang back together. It's been a minute since we've all been able to be on the same show at the same time. But today we're going to talk about Texas A&M and Iowa State, not Ohio State. Iowa State prospects doing our summer scouting series. Our two scouts, Alec Polito and Lorez Lineweber, are going to be talking about it. As you can see, he's missing a block letter, so I will only refer to him as Lorez today. Lorenz, tell us about your missing block.
Yeah, so I figured I should tell the people, my little brother is having his confirmation, and when I had mine, I got actually these block letters. I now remember, because my mom told me, I remember when you had your confirmation, you got your block letters. So I told her she had to get the same for my little brother, but she forgot to order the N, so I was kind enough to, for a couple of days, just so he's gonna have them all tomorrow. Give him my N, and then it'll obviously be back. We'll have the block letters back, but since they're so iconic, I figured he should have them. But no, I'm doing great. Alec, how you doing?
Doing great. Real excited to talk about these teams. But if you don't want to say, you don't have to. What's your brother's name?
It's Clemens, Clemens. So there's a bunch of letters. Like I don't blame my mom for not getting the N. But it is what it is.
Clements.
Yeah.
All right, Alec.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Alec, where's your
Never
block
knew
letter?
that about you.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't had my confirmation yet, so I didn't get my block letters. So I'll work on doing that. Maybe that's we were just talking about Twitter followers. Maybe that's the reason I don't have anything compared to you guys. But it's whatever.
The block letters have gotten me
Twitter
at least
account
250
right here if you
followers.
want to follow it. Yeah. Well,
I
maybe.
low-key believe that. All right. What were you gonna say, Alec?
I think it might have something to do with the fact that I've got the Yankees thing right there. So people hate the Yankees. They don't follow, but it's no big deal.
Yeah,
I got another story. First time I ever talked to Alec, he had that Yankee thing in the background, was wearing a Duke hoodie, and I thought, man,
Let's go Duke basketball. Let's go.
Now we got a show to go.
Paolo's bringing us to glory in Coach K's
scrub.
final season. So
imagine being a what do you guys call a fair weather fan?
It gets even worse. For me, it's Duke. It's the Yankees. It's the Miami Heat, and then it's the Giants and Islanders.
I don't know if the
Giants
Giants aren't good. I don't know about the Islanders and Heat.
Well, the Islanders just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat have been good in the past, and they went to the championship last year.
Very cool, Alec. Very cool. All right, so Lorez, we're going to talk about Texas A&M first. Can you tell us about Isaiah Spiller, the running back? Big name, big running back class. Tell us about Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Spiller is some people's favorite running back in the class. I haven't dug through all of them yet, but I certainly like what I'm seeing from Isaiah Spiller. He's got a great blend of size and ability, which will allow him to be pretty much an immediate starter, I think, right out the gate. You talk about his contact balance, the way he attacks downfield, the moment he gets the ball, really getting north and south, being a physical runner, having good vision as a running back. I think there's a lot of things to like about Isaiah Spiller's game, translating to a starting running back at the next level. He can occasionally make defenders miss, and he's the prototypical, not prototypical, but he's a very good fit for an inside running scheme. Between the tackles is really where he's doing his best work. I don't know how high the upside is. I don't know if he's ever going to be a Pro Bowl caliber type running back, which is why I don't think we always talk about, is this a first round worthy running back? Right now, I wouldn't say Isaiah Spiller is. But hey, if you're getting him on day 2, I think you're getting a starting running back whether that's inside zone. I think he can work in a gap scheme. So just because that diverse skill set that he does have as an inside runner, I like Isaiah Spiller. I'm not too crazy about him. He's not a generational prospect or anything, but I think he's going to be a contributor in as a rookie, he's going to be a contributor for a long time, as I got a fly bothering me. Of course, this had to happen.
I swear I said that fly just now.
And no, but he's an inside runner. He's going to get a lot of work. So if you're playing Fantasy, Dynasty, Devy, whatever, we know, shout out to the Devy folks at Draft Bible. He's going to be someone who I think is going to get the workload, which I know is a big thing. You need to get the touches to be successful. So I like Isaiah Spiller. Just not sure he has the upside and the ceiling to ever be like a true difference maker, but he can be a very good player.
Yeah, from what I saw on him, I don't think he's anything crazy as in like this kid's going to have to go first round, but he does seem like a really good complement to the guy we're going to talk about next, and he will be someone I think at the next level that can at least be a 2-down back for you, but I think he can be a 3-down back for most teams in their schemes.
All right, next up, Alec, tell us about Aeneas Smith?
I think it's Aeneas
Yeah. Smith. Oh, sure. Running back, wide receiver.
Well, he's probably going to have to play a lot more wide receiver this year because they've got Isaiah Spiller there. But Aeneas Smith is someone who can definitely make an impact at the next level because of his versatility. Like you see right there, it's running back / wide receiver for a reason. He's an excellent receiver, prototypically a slot guy, can definitely separate in the intermediate to short routes. Not much of a long speed guy. He's not going to run your go routes, but he can definitely separate with the best of them at that intermediate and short route range. From the backfield, he's someone who's really more of a one-cut, get down the field kind of guy, not going to spend a lot of time or not very nimble, I guess I should say, is more so heavy on his feet, just one-cut type running back, which could be a fault of his going to the next level. But he can play that Antonio Gibson type role, I think, at the next level and really be a true receiving back that can give you some running downs. I don't think that he's any bit of a joke from the running back position, but he's really going to make his money with his receiving game and a pass-happy offense.
And Aeneas Smith last year in that offense, he was their best receiver. I mean, best route runner, best overall type target guy. Doing a lot out of the backfield. I think this year is going to play even more receiver. He was a wide receiver, I think, coming out of high school. Made that switch. Obviously played running back in name, and he did have some carries. But just his dynamism, I think, really shows up and is really apparent as a receiver from the slot, as a route runner. I think he's going to be... He's got a chance, I think, in the right offense that is willing to move him around, use him as that chess piece, and it's easier to incorporate those type players on offense than defense. Kind of saw it with Isaiah Simmons, but I think with a guy like Aeneas Smith, if he lands with a offensive coordinator or play caller that knows what to do with him, he can be an absolutely dynamic weapon, not just in college, but especially in the NFL. So I'm really excited, depending on his landing spot. Everyone's catching it now with the block letters. Shout out, Zach. Depending on his landing spot, I think he could be a really productive player, and those are certainly two exciting playmakers that they have there for Texas A&M.
Yeah, and from a personnel standpoint, it's interesting to see, this move of how many running backs are hybrid wide receivers, how many wide receivers become hybrid running backs as the running back position becomes devalued, and as I've even heard people say the wide receiver position is becoming devalued. It's interesting to see these chess pieces. This is kind of the future of the game, is more hybrids. Anyways, here's a big tight end, a big name in tight ends. Lorez, can you tell us about Jalen Wydermyer?
I got to get my N back. Jalen Wydermyer, obviously. He had the big time stats, He was obviously Kellen Mond's go-to guy there last year. This is why you're going to see Jalen Wydermyer as the number one tight end in a lot of rankings. Because he got a lot of looks last year. They got a lot of wide receivers opting out, and he was their statistically best receiving threat. I still think Aeneas Smith is a little more dynamic. But let's talk about Jalen Wydermyer. He's got a great frame. He's a big dude at the tight end position, and he's excellent winning in the air. You look at his ability to make catches, contested catches, hang on through contact, the type hands that he does have. It's really, really exciting. But I worry about everything that happens before the catch with Jalen Wydermyer. I don't think he's a particularly great athlete. He's probably on the average side of straight line speed. athleticism. This kind of prevents him from separating. He does get in and out of his breaks fairly well, but there's not a lot of explosiveness to create or sustain separation. And then after the catch, I don't think he's overly dynamic, but he does have that ability to win the air. Something he's really going to work on, in my opinion, as a big tight end, is that type of inline, big target, red zone target that he's going to want to be. He's got to be a better blocker, in my opinion. Right now, he's just super inconsistent. Doesn't really make enough of a difference in the running game or even as a pass blocker. So that's something he's really got to clean up. I don't think Jalen Weidermeyer is the top tight end in the class. I will say that right now. I think Jaleel Billingsley he's as good at the catch point. I'll say it, and I think he's just more dynamic. I still like Jalen Weidermeyer. I don't know if he's going to be a book at starting tight end type player at the next level, but I think he does have a role at least as that catch point guy, and he can be a contributor to an offense. I just don't see the dynamic playmaker that a lot of people are seeing right now. So. But I think there are things to like about Jalen Weidermeyer. Don't want to be too negative here. His ability to win the ball in the air is excellent.
I gotta agree with you, and I don't think that I don't think he's bad by any means, but I don't see the dynamism in his game, whereas Jaleel Billingsley has. So I definitely don't have him ranked as high as I've seen a lot of people have him ranked, but definitely a really good player. I do think he can start at the next level. But I can't put him number one over Jaleel Billingsley, who we've talked about in the Alabama summer scouting, and we will continue to talk about throughout the process because the kid is really good. But I can't put him over Jaleel Billingsley in the way that the NFL is using tight ends nowadays.
All right, so Alec, another big name, a name that I think we've talked about briefly on the show before. DeMarvin Leal. Yeah, we had him as a my guy on one episode. Tell us about DeMarvin Leal.
Lorenz, was it your my guy?
I think it was it no.
Might have been Jack Borowski.
Might have been Jack, yeah. Might have been Jack.
I think it was Borowski, yeah.
It was someone's, and rightfully so. He's a really good player. I think he's going to move inside at the next level just because I don't think that there's really like only two big flaws that I had on his game. Not even really that big, but they were the only two things that I thought he was a little bit under par with, or I guess it would be over par, wouldn't it? Don't you want to be under par?
You want to be under par.
In golfing, right? Yeah, I was just golfing the other day. I've never been under par, but I assume that you're supposed to be. But anyways, I would, with DeMarvin Leal, the only things that I really questioned in his game were his ability to corner. I didn't think he had the knee bend necessarily in cornering, and I didn't think he had necessarily the elite quickness off the edge. But when you're talking about technique and refined abilities as a pass rusher, I think on the inside, he's going to wreak havoc on guards. I don't think anyone's going to really be able to stop him there. The way that he can move on the inside is going to be ridiculous. And then he does have that ability to stretch outside if you need him to. But I just think there's going to be so much more that he can do from the interior defensive line, especially if you're in a system that allows him to really just get after the passer, a penetration system where he can just get into the offensive line and get through. I think he's going to be someone who's top 15 pick in the draft next year. Now, that might even be being too safe, but he is a really good football player, and I would not be shocked to see him as one of the top defensive players off the board. He's going to be in conversations at least with Thibodeau. I'm forgetting Karlaftis will be in that conversation, I guess. I don't know about that high, but he'll be in that conversation. I'm forgetting a big one. Who am I forgetting?
Drake Jackson.
And I think isn't there one more?
Trayvon Walker. Yeah, that's the guy you're thinking of.
Yeah, so he'll be in that conversation at least.
I don't know if Trayvon Walker's in that conversation yet, but he's awesome.
Man, the Marvin Leal was not the guy I was putting in there, but you threw him out there.
But you gave me the chance to pound the table for Trayvon Walker, so I did. DeMarvin Leal, though, if you watch Texas A&M, if you watch that defense, there's no way this guy doesn't flash in some way, shape, or form because he is such a good athlete at 290 pounds. He's going to run probably in the 4.8s, former 5-star recruit. It shows why he is. he is tossing, man. As a true sophomore last year, he was tossing. Draftable guard, I think 6th round pick. Stone Forsythe just took him and threw him to the ground because he's just so physically dominant. Trayvon Walker isn't a linebacker. He's just so physically dominant. Liel is. They play him on the interior. He's winning constantly. They play him on the outside. He's winning with spin moves. He's winning with power. Any type of way you want this guy to win, he's got it. I think he's going to play another season. He's going to get even better. And man, he's going to be a high draft pick. He's just impossible to miss on tape. And I think if you're that dominant, as a pass rusher, as a defensive lineman, it's just tough. Yeah, Quay Walker isn't that great. It's just tough to be. What I want to say it's just tough to get out of that. I don't know. I want to predict the draft at top 20. I think just based off of traits. I mean, this guy's incredible. This is one of the best players in the class, in my opinion.
All right, thank you, Alec. Thank you, Lorez. Lorez, your next guy, Kenyon Green, a guy I've heard you talk about before a little bit. Tell us about Kenyon Green, Lorez.
Yeah, going from one of the best players in the class at this point to another, Kenyon Green. He started at left guard, another big-time recruit, tremendous athlete. He's thick, he's powerful. So from a physical standpoint, really everything you look for from a starting guard at the next level. His frame, he's really well built. As I said, he's really carrying his, I think, 320 pounds very well. Very flexible, helps him in pass protection. Doesn't really have opponents get under his pads too much. Wins the leverage battle. There's a lot to like as a run blocker. He drives opponents. He doesn't really lose as a pass blocker. I mean, watching him in pass pro is at some point almost boring because there's just no way to beat him. You won't go through him. You won't go around him. On the inside, now I think the big thing with Kenyon Green, who is in my opinion already a top tier interior and guard prospect, he's gonna apparently kick out to left tackle from what I've heard, and start there for the Aggies. I don't know if he's got. If he's got the length to do that at the NFL level, I think he'll be fine in college. I don't know if he's gonna be if his game's really gonna translate to tackle as much. Like I said, I think he's gonna be a good tackle, still a good left tackle. Just because if you look at his technique, at his athleticism, he's gonna be able to do it at Texas A&M. He's gonna be able to do it in the SEC. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it in the NFL. I think his position is probably an offensive guard at the next level, but I think he can be one of the better ones in the league, potential Pro Bowl type player. I don't like to throw that around on prospects, but I just think Kenyon Green is a rare dude and a rare prospect there at the guard position, which we've seen devalued a little bit, but Quentin Nelson went 6th overall. I don't think Kenyon Green goes that high because I don't think he's quite that level of a prospect, but man, I really like this kid. He's more than someone to keep an eye on. If you haven't watched Kenyon Green, go do it. So yeah, he's a stud. His tape's a lot of fun.
Well, you see how I set it up so we could do the best 2 players last, Lorenzo. I'm always thinking what's best. But no, Kenyon Green's a stud and probably the best interior offensive lineman in next year's class. You said it, potential Pro Bowl level player. I think I throw it around a little more than you do, but it's still meaningful. He's a legit Pro Bowl caliber player at the next level. I think you're right. I mean, I don't see him playing tackle at the next level. Definitely a guard for me. I'm interested to see though how he plays out at tackle this year, because if he shows the versatility and the ability out there, he could at least get you out of a game potentially at tackle, which even adds to his value. So I think that, you know, we saw Quentin Nelson get the Colts out of a game at tackle last year. So I don't think there's much you can add to his value, but sure, we'll throw it on the scouting report, can get you out of a game and tackle. So Kenyon Green is a stud.
All right, so we're going to switch over to Iowa State. The first guy, I'm just going to quickly plug the encyclopedia. This is a guy that I got to watch him pop on film while I was working on the encyclopedia. The encyclopedia will be out very soon. It's Roy Countryman's Prospect Encyclopedia. You can get it on allaccessfootball.com. It's got work from I think it's 8 of us or so. We did each person did 22 players on multiple teams. So there's over 700 scouting reports. check it out, allaccessfootball.com. Give Roy Countryman a follow. He's just an absolute, excellent human being. But this guy that I saw pop on tape, Alec, I'm going to ask you to tell us about him first. Running back Breece Hall. I watched him, I want to say against Micah Parsons. When I was watching Micah Parsons, he popped. Maybe not. I don't know. Alec, tell us about Breece Hall.
Well, I think it's Breece Hall. But
oops.
I'm pretty sure it's Breece.
I've seen no one call him.
I'm pretty sure it's Breece. But either way, if anyone in the comments knows, I'm pretty sure it's Breece. Ryan's out there. Ryan, is it
Ryan's
Breece
trying to troll us.
I need to know this right now because that would I've seen so many people, just announcers, talk about him and say Breece Hall.
Breece's.
I thought it was Breece, but I could, that's Reese's. We're not doing that.
Breece's.
I mean, we could be doing that. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, it's not. It's not Reese's though. It's Reese's. It's a big argument here in America, Lorenz. It's Reese's. But
anyways,
right.
Breece Hall.
Oh, do we got an answer?
Reese's. Wait, people think
can
it's Reese.
confirm it is not Breece. Okay, so it's not Breece.
Yeah, it's
Breece Hall.
Man, dude, you can't be
My
doing
apologies.
that with me.
I thought it was Breece. Okay, but either way,
Lorez barely knows English. All right.
It's Breece Hall, as we've been told it is. I still don't believe it. I think it's fake, but whatever. No, he's a really good running back out of Iowa State. 6'1", 215, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on that. And he, my problem with that is that he doesn't really run with that size, but it's good size for the league. I think he needs to develop a little bit more as a power back. I don't think he's necessarily doesn't have a ton of finish in his runs, but a really solid back that has some quick feet and pretty good athlete for the position. Definitely has the abilities, I think, to fit in either as inside zone scheme or outside zone scheme. I think either one is fine for him. He is someone who has developed hands. I think that he is going to be fine as a pass catcher in the league. And I think that Breece Hall, I'm going to still call him Breece because I'm not believing it. Breece Hall.
Because you're incorrect.
I'm not buying it.
I have an English degree.
Jack in your English degree, okay? Unbelievable. No, I think that he's going to be – look, he's going to be in the conversation for one of the top backs in the draft next year. You're talking about a guy who's, I think, first in yards but second in touchdowns to Najee Harris. So it's not like he was second to anyone else or just anyone meant by that. But he the production's there. The athleticism's there. I don't think he's super refined in his vision. I think that's something that he's got to get better at. And I think he has to get better as a power back. But otherwise, he's got pretty much everything that you'd want in a running back prospect. So we'll see where what he does this year, where he's again going to be the focal point of that offense. And I think that you have to at least consider him in that RB1 conversation. I'm not saying he's there, but he's got to be in conversation for it for sure.
So Breece Hall, and I will say I do got to watch some more on him. The one thing I'm concerned about is I don't know what to really hang my head on. Stop it. I don't know what to really hang my head on with Breece Hall from a traits perspective, because I don't think he's the greatest athlete. He's a good athlete for sure. I don't think he's got crazy contact balance, crazy power, as to what you say. And I don't want to get trapped by the whole production thing. He's a really productive player. I think his instincts as a runner are really good. But I wish he had a bit of that. He had a bit of that sort of translating or transcendent trait that you could really hang your head on with Breece Hall. I still think a good running back prospect, but I'm not sure he's the top running back in the class. Haven't seen a couple of the others, but he's certainly in the mix. I would just like to see a bit more, like I said, from like a transcendent traits standpoint with him.
Well, speaking of transcendent traits, you got any Lorez for our quarterback, Brock Purdy? Purdy is a guy that I watched a little bit of last year. Not my guy, but Lorez, how about you? What do you think about Brock Purdy?
And Brock Purdy didn't have a great season last year, but I watched him over the last summer, so a year ago. Haven't really sat down and dove into his tape since then. But I thought he was someone. I mean, he's probably maxed out from what he's gonna be. You know, I thought he had sound feet in the pocket, solid, solid, a solid thrown motion, really maximizing the arm that is not big that he does have, but he's able to put a bit of zip on those short throws. Once you ask him to go deep, it's just not there. He's really undersized. He's a small guy. 3-year starter there, I think, at Iowa State. I just don't know what his ceiling is, or I do know. I don't think it's very high. That's the concern with him. He's never going to be someone who's going to be seen as a starting type quarterback, at least for a longer time. He might be able to come in as a backup at the next level and have a solid game even. But I mean, for him, it's really all got to go right. He's got to win in the short to intermediate area of the field because he doesn't have the arm. You know, I do think he's accurate. I do think he does a nice job reading defenses at times. But man, then last year he's had a couple of games where his decision making just wasn't good, and he's really got to iron that out. And then he's got a tendency when his offensive line is just not blocking well. He starts seeing ghosts drifting back in the pocket. Those are a couple of things that he's got to iron out. I think, yeah, like I said, I think he's limited ceiling-wise, but I don't dislike Brock Purdy as much as a couple other people do. I do still think there are a couple of things to appreciate about his game, but he's certainly not someone who's going to be in the QB1 conversation, or I don't think even in the day 2 conversation. But still, I still think a draft-relevant guy who might end up, you know, because of that leadership profile that he also has, multiple-year starter. The scouts and decision makers that come from the Bill Parcells tree, they're gonna like him, I guess, unless they have a size threshold, then not. But Brock Purdy, good college quarterback, solid college quarterback. I don't know how high his ceiling is at the next level. Yeah, Alec, what do you think?
He's a potential backup quarterback in the league and probably a day 3 pick. That's all. He's really, and it's not hate on Brock Purdy. Right. Yeah, it's not hate on Brock Purdy, but I don't see any starter caliber traits with him. And,
attaboy, Alec. Attaboy.
Yeah, I do think he gets drafted. I think he's a day 3 kind of guy. Although next year there is a lot more quarterbacks that with draftable grades, like last year in 2021 draft, I think I had like 6. With a draftable grade, or no, I think it was 8. But there's a lot more next year that are going to have draftable grades. He's still a draftable player, just not.
I mean, if Jack was a decision maker, he'd be a day 2 quarterback, Brock Purdy. But anyways, Jack,
let's go 32 quarterbacks in round 1.
I'm so proud of you, Alec. Anyway, yeah, no, I wasn't very high on Brock Purdy. I agree with what Alex said. Moving on, Alec, last guy, Charlie Kolar. He was a guy that surprised some people by not. Yeah, that's fair.
Fair. No, he's very fair. There was less quarterbacks last year, though.
Yeah. There was less draftable people in general. A lot of the not defers. Oh my God, opt-outs this year. Defers is an admissions thing. A lot of opt-outs this year. Maybe in a regular year he could go day 2, maybe, but I'm with Alec, day 3.
Did you guys know? Did you guys know Jackson English major and works in admissions?
I don't think I've ever mentioned that I work in admissions.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
I did.
I just got a promotion, by the way.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Charlie Kolar, tight end from Iowa State. Thank you very much. A guy that a lot of people thought might have been going out for the draft last year. From what I remember watching him, a big-bodied dude, a soft hands, kind of a safety blanket. But we'll let Alec tell us if Lorenz seems to be disagreeing with me by his smile, or you're just happy. Alec, tell us about
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I was like, what do you disagree? No, that's exactly what he is. He's a big-bodied tight end he's more thin in his frame, but he's still big with a huge catch radius. Effort blocker, definitely not the greatest of blockers, but not a bad blocker. He's played in line. He's played out wide. He's a versatile tight end at the next level. Soft hands, definitely really good traffic catcher and box out catcher. Uses his body really well in those situations where it could be a red zone target for sure. Problems with Kolar, he's not much of an athlete. Obviously he's a great athlete compared to me, but he's not much of an athlete for the position. So he's limited in that sense. I don't think he's a tight end one in the league. I think he's more so of your secondary option at the position, but he's got some traits that we'll see what happens this year. He's got traits that he could definitely, teams will definitely like. And another, I believe it's a weaker tight end class again next year. So he's going to have a chance to.
Steep.
Yeah. I mean,
Nah.
Brian made a funny joke in the comments.
What'd he say?
Kolar thought about declaring last year, but his decision was too slow.
I mean,
he's right.
I was just gonna say, I just don't think Charlie Kolar has. I think he's overrated right now. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it like I think. He's got soft hands. I think he can do a little bit for you in line, but he's not the dominant type blocker, people mover, aggressive guy that I really want in line, that I need to get on the field because he's going to do such a difference for me in the run game. Projecting him to the next level, and then I just don't think he's going to separate at all. He's not going to be a threat down the seam. He's just going to be someone who's going to have soft, reliable hands. There's a place for that, I guess, but he's just not someone who should be popping up and like top 3 of rankings right now. I do get the production, it's a big part. He's been a name for a long time, but I just don't think projecting him and projecting his role to the next level, he's someone who should be rated as highly. Still probably going to be a Senior Bowl type guy, which is fine. I don't want to hate on him, but I just think, man, some people are just too high on Charlie Kolar. He's not the type dynamic athlete that you really want at the position, especially in today's game. I mean, I think he's severely lacking in a couple of these areas, and it just is what it is because that's something you're probably not going to get better at.
And that's the thing. If you're someone like that, you can find a role in the NFL, but you're not going to get, a role player doesn't get drafted that early. And that's the biggest, this, maybe he's high on some people's boards, but in terms of what a personnel person is looking at it, they're going to be like, well, we can only use him this way. So he's not going to be as valuable, even if he's really good at that one thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's a second level tight end. So I think that's, we'll see. I don't think that he's ever a starter in the league. I think he's a backup. But hey, I feel like we were really down on the Iowa State guys, and I hope the Cyclones fans don't come at us. It's just the school that we were doing this week. But
I really love their program. I love these guys in college.
I like
Matt Campbell. Yeah,
you just got to be realistic projecting these guys forward. But they got a lot of draft relevant guys. Respect the.
They've done a great job. They really have.
Respect the crap out of what they've been doing. And yeah, it's a great program. I just don't think their guys from an NFL perspective should be rated as highly as they are. Still draft relevant guys, or we wouldn't be bringing them up in the show. But yeah, I hope Iowa State fans don't hate me.
Yeah, don't come at us, please.
Yeah. Iowa State has a very special place in my heart in that when I didn't know anything about college football, when I first started playing NCAA football in like 2006 or something, Iowa State was the first school that I got like an offer from in the game and I joined their team as a running back. So it's like I'm very, 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 very close to my heart. Alec, that's all we got.
You're kind of like Brees Hall in that you're real solid, but there are just no special transcendent traits.
Yeah,
that was mean. I'm sorry.
No, that's if we were scouting me in high school, I'd be like, oh. He's not that athletic. He knows his assignment. He can make a play every now and then. That's about it. I wouldn't get a draftable grade.
Send me your tape. I'll write you up.
Oh, that'd be hysterical.
That would be fun.
Alec, would you like to pull us out?
Yeah, let's get out of here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please go to the NFLDraftBible.com and check out all the great content we've got going out. I think there's a top 5 from high-level schools almost every day. Got a ton of draft profile reports and just plenty more coming out. Go watch the State of Football on mornings, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. So go check that out. All Access Football, go there. Get the draft encyclopedia before it runs out. It is massive. It is extensive, and it is a great product. And come hang with us 3 times a week. We'll be back next Tuesday for a show. I don't remember.
It's gonna be my guys
Monday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Next Tuesday, and then next Thursday we'll be talking with the Barcelona Dragons quarterback, and I believe their running back as well. So stay tuned for that. And any final words, guys, before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Again, like I always go next.
All right, dang. You know, I tried it. It's the weekend. I tried to do something different. Nope. You know, that's what I'm talking about, Jack. But go ahead, I guess.
Yep. Get the encyclopedia. Thank you, Alec. Also, we started a TikTok. While not all of us are Gen Z, like this old guy right here, I'm borderline millennial. I don't know. We are trying to put out a little bit of content every couple days on the TikTok. Lorenz has put out a couple videos on prospects. I think Alec has 2. I was trying to throw you a bone.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I can't take credit for what he.
I'm looking to put out some cap stuff, some team, building perspective things. It's gonna be fun. Check us out. We're just at Prospect Profits on TikTok. Can't believe I'm saying those words. This is beyond my generation.
Go TikTok.
I mean, Jack is just painfully millennial. So,
painfully millennial. I was born in 96.
One thing I want to add is on the NFLDraftBible.com, we got rankings out, early summer rankings, watch list, guys that should be on your radar. I think top 30s at almost every position outside of fullback, so go check those out. And, we'll be back with you guys on Tuesday for my guys Monday on a Tuesday. We couldn't get the alliteration to work. If someone has one for us, let us know. But thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll